So this is video 5 in our Introduction to Coding with R. We looked at the logistics of this course and then why we want to learn to code with R before looking at R for data management and running RStudio commands. And now we'll look at installing packages, including Swirl. And please note this is the theory so that you will better complement your understanding of what we're trying to do when actually coding properly. So look at the labs folder if you want to look at those videos demonstrating actual coding. To install packages, we need to click on on this package icon button on this right-hand side, lower right-hand side panel down here. When we click on that, you should be able to write in here the package that you want, like Swirl, and that will actually retrieve that package from CRAN up here at our database of choice, and it just by default install it to the correct location on your computer, so you don't need to change this part or this part with CRAN. But it'll show you where that is being stored, just so you know the structure of how R is operating. Then you can click on install, and that package should install. Sometimes it might appear saying if you want to install packages from source, just hit no there, and hit no if it asks for that more than once, and just let it install. What you should see is something like this. So here I'm actually installing with the function install.packages, a whole bunch of different libraries and packages that are useful. So you can see that they're in double quotes, and I use the C function to concatenate them all together. You can see that it's installing into this particular location, and it says that there are some ones that have different versions from what was previously existing on my computer. So when it says, do you want to install the packages which need from sources, the packages that need compilation, typically hit no, and that should be okay. If you have technical issues, you can always repeat it and hit yes to see what happens. What you should see is that it will say that it's actually accessing CRAN. So CRAN is a website. It's downloading the file of a particular size, and it will should have downloaded it. It may take a while to go through the packages, especially if you have a new computer. So this is an example of a package that's installed correctly. It's called knitter. It knits together complex documents. And it says it's also installing various dependencies. So packages are like houses of cards, and you often need dependencies for one particular package. It has to install other ones, and that's why it can take a few seconds to install packages. What it'll say that the versions are available, where you have newer versions being installed, and it should say that the downloaded packages are in this particular location. So there's no error shown here, and you should see something similar when you try to install packages successfully. One that you should try to install is the package Swirl, and if you follow these commands, you'll be able to do that. The first one installs Swirl. Install the packages installs this important library Swirl. The second one activates it. The library function activates Swirl. You can initiate Swirl to actually go into the package with the Swirl command and start with the tutorial. The tutorial, you can spend 3 minutes or 3 hours or 3 days in it. It's up to you, but note that you can exit it with the command bye. So you can install a course as well, but you might want to start with part 1 on R programming, and you can start from lesson 1, the basic building blocks, and note that the lesson is interactive. So that's installing it with Swirl. So this is an example where we install Swirl. You should see that it's installing the package into this particular location. It's also installing a dependency. That's very common. And it should say that it's successfully unpacked these packages and that they're installed. And that would mean that the successful install has been completed here. Next, you can type in library Swirl, and it should see this. Type Swirl when you're ready to begin. So you've typed that in, then it will say, welcome to Swirl, and you can sign in. And you can give your name, such as Hal. It will say, thanks, Hal, and you can just continue with the tutorial. And just keep pressing a key to see the next part. And just answer the questions which will be in black here. And follow the tutorial as you go through, and you'll see content like this. And note that there are certain commands that will be useful, like the ones here, particularly buy to exit it, or main to go back to the main menu. So these are all functions within the Swirl package that let you do different things. And these are the suite of key chapters of Swirl that exist: or programming, regression models, statistical inference, and exploratory data analysis. So you can see there's quite a few options there. And in subsequent courses on statistics and R coding, we'll look at some of those, the more advanced ones. So when you enter into chapter 1, you should see these options here. So there's 15 different options. So I recommend you start with part 1 if you're completely new to it. However, you can dip in and out as you see fit, and say you want to learn more about vectors. You can go back to that part and redo it whenever it suits you. If you want to look at times and dates, you can do that. If you want to look at missing values, you can do that as well. So it's all up to you, and that's why this tutorial is very, very useful for learning about coding in a structured manner. And when you go into it, you'll be asked things like type 5 and 7 and press enter. And if you do that, your input will be shown in blue here, and the answer will be shown in black, and you'll get responses from the Swirl tutorial. So that concludes this video on installing packages like Swirl in R.